Outdoor Secrets Unwrapped is brought to you in part by White Rocks Design Studio at Turcotte Design, who has been serving Southern Vermont for over 20 years. Fish Donkey, the future of tournament fishing. Targets Unlimited, Mercer Sports. Outdoor Secrets Unwrapped hot sauce with that big craft heat and that big craft taste. Corker Boots, P-Line, Sugar Mountain Trading Company. The Outdoor Experience Guide Service, who has been serving Southern Wisconsin for over 20 years. Cooler Guard Spray with the cleaning power of enzymes. Okuma Fishing, Hoffman Lures Incorporated, and a proud member of the Southwest Chamber of Commerce. Welcome into this week's edition of Outdoor Secrets Unwrapped. I'm your host, Chris Bates, and boy, what an exciting time I think we're going to have today. The weather's kind of iffy. We're dodging rain and wind, but I believe that we're going to get out, and we are out today with Shiloh Patterson from Heavy Metal Outfitters, and we met Shiloh at the, what did we meet you? What was that outdoor show?
Marlboro, Mass, New England Fisherman Expo.
Right, Dan Kenny's show. So anybody who's watching this, Dan Kenny puts on a great show out there in Marlboro, Mass. But anyway, thank you so much for having us. I'm kind of excited. I've never been on Lake Ontario before, ever in my life. So you're going to have to give me kind of a blow-by-blow on what are we going to be doing.
So Lake Ontario is known for its king salmon, coho, brown trout, steelhead, and lake trout fishery. Right now we're in the early spring. It's prime time for brown trout and our lake trout. Today the weather's not going to let us go out and play with lake trout, so we're going to go after brown trout. Okay, and so I'm on your boat. Very nice. What kind of boat is this? So I have a 27-foot Baja Fisherman. I'm probably the smallest boat in the charter fleet.
Okay.
But we chose Baja because they're just known for the stability in rough waters on the ocean and the Great Lakes.
I've been on a lot of boats, and when we got on, I looked at the back of the boat, and it's all open. A lot of guys have benches and all that stuff, and I got to thinking, I wonder how that's going to work. But we're going to find out anyway at some point today, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Catch a few fish.
Absolutely.
And have some fun out there. So, a couple other things. Equipment. I've seen a lot of guys with different equipment and rods and reels and line and stuff. So what is all your preferred equipment?
I'm primarily Okuma fishing reels and rods. I do run some ugly stick rods in the light series, and I have some Shimano reels that are a specialty. But it's primarily Okuma. And I range in sizes from 7'6" up to 10 foot.
So which is which? Like what would we be using for brown trout?
Today we're going to be on the lighter side. I'm going to run 7'6" ugly sticks off my planer boards, and then we'll be running Okuma reels.
Okay.
Line counter reels.
And what kind of line are we using?
I use a 15-pound main line and then a mono main line.
Right.
And then we run anywhere from 12-pound to 8-pound fluorocarbon leaders. I'm expecting gin clear water, so we're going to try to make that line invisible.
Right.
And that lighter leader helps with the actions of the baits, the spoons, and gets them to roll proper.
I love monoline. I'm a trout guy in Vermont, and I love the mono. I don't know why. I think it just works better. the memory is better, just the whole thing about it.
Yeah, I pretty much only use fluorocarbon just for that leader part.
Yeah.
Just because it makes it a little bit more invisible for the fish.
So what kind of lures are we using for this?
For brown trout, we use spoons and stick baits. Variety of sizes, depending on, we let the fish tell us what size they want. So I like to start big and work down for bigger fish. I'm looking for trophies and trying to stay away from the smaller ones. But when you're in that year class, that's what you get.
Right.
You take what the lake gives you.
That's exactly right. So explain real quickly what a stick bait is, because that's a term that my viewers may or may not know. Some, think of it as you're talking to a novice. Okay. So what's a stick bait?
So what we call stick baits are basically your Rapalas, stuff like that you would be throwing for bass. We use shallow divers. A lot of times we're fishing 8 to 20 feet of water. We don't have to get down far. We just got to break the surface a little bit.
And what kind of bait fish are brown trout known to go after? So the lures and stuff we're using are going to mimic something.
Yes. So primarily we have alewives and gobies have taken over. Both are very invasive. And then we're starting to see the smelt come back, which they feed on all 3 species. Brown trout will feed on anything. Right. They feed on those 3 species. So your gobies are a bottom feeder. They're in the rocks. Your smelt are going to be looking for sand this time of year. And your alewives are going to be looking for that same area.
So are brown trout bottom feeders? If they're going after, if they see a goby on the bottom, they're going for it.
Oh, yeah. As the water warms up, we're looking for a temperature of thermocline wherever it meets the bottom. So they like that bottom structure. There isn't a ton of structure out in Lake Ontario. So if you got structure and bait, you're going to have brown trout around.
And one last thing before we go to break is a captain license. Do you need a captain's license, or do you need a New York license to be a guide? How does that all work?
So in all the Great Lakes, you have to have a U.S. Coast Guard's captain's license. So I'm licensed for a 100-ton vessel.
Wow.
And then in New York State, I also carry a guide's license via New York State, which both you have to take tests to pass.
I think that's good. I think that shows potential customers and clients that you are on the up and up, and that you can say, hey, I am licensed to do it.
Absolutely, and every client should make sure to ask a potential captain. You can ask them to see the red book, or they, have it on board or whatever, and you can ask them, hey, are you legit? Do you have a license? What kind of insurance are you carrying? That should be due diligence on the customers, because there are some guys that are just not legit, and that's not safe.
Right. I'd like to talk a little bit more about that maybe in the show. So with that, we need to take a quick break, and when we come back, hopefully we're going to show you some great action out here on Lake Ontario.
I'm Sam Perlman with the Door County Maritime Museum in Sturgeon Bay. You're watching Outdoor Secrets Unwrapped.
We're going to let this bad boy go, but wow, look at that fish.
Oh my God, that's a
wow.
Stay tuned for your outdoor tip of the week.
Shiloh Patterson, Heavy Metal Outfitters. Here's your outdoor tip of the week. A lot of times when we're setting up for brown trout, if you're the weekend guy who doesn't know where to start, a lot of us start with natural baits on one side and we'll start with brights on the other. And then we'll let the fish tell us what they want. If they want bright baits or if they want natural baits. Today we hit fish on a variety of colors, but the two that stood out was we were looking at greens and yellows, and then we were looking at natural baits. So we ended up running a spread on one side of just natural colors, and then we ran some brights on the other side. As we're taking more baits on one side or the other, that's what's going to dictate if we're pulling out brights and adding more naturals, or if we're going to pull the naturals and add more brights. In dirty water, you're going to be looking more at the brights. In the clear water like we were in today, it was more naturals. So all these baits here were our hot baits. We're on natural alewives, colors. That purple clown's a good one. Black widow, rodfather, and then we threw a stick bait in there. Sometimes these fish just like to hunt. They like to wiggle. They can feel it. That little shake. I think this ended up taking 3 shots for us today. And you can get Smithwicks, Rapalas, anything that's a shallow diving stick bait. A lot of times we're fishing the shallow water, 6 to 8 feet, and these just get you down a couple extra feet, and that little bit of wiggle will get fish going as well. Most of our baits are primarily spoons and some sticks in the mix. That's your outdoor tip of the week.
Back to Outdoor Secrets Unwrapped. I'm your host, Chris Bates. Boy, I tell you what, if you guys ever want to get out fishing, make sure you get out on Shiloh Patterson's boat, the heavy metal
Right now
outfitter.
we're fishing for brown trout, and we're using a variety of methods. We're using dipsy divers, and we're using planer boards.
What are the different sizes for, and what do they do?
So the one we're using right now is a size 2 Chinook diver. This is the one that we favor, and then the spoons run anywhere from 6 to 8 feet behind that diver. Why we're using these is the fish like to feed in this prop wash. You got bait fish in here in the warmer water, and they'll get right in this prop wash and feed. I can just back up. Okay. Just keep one steady speed. Oh, you won't pull. It's like hypnotizing. We just hit that brown on a Chinook diver 10 feet down behind the boat.
Going into pagan. Exactly. Let people know that too. You know, when the air temperature dropped like within seconds.
We're on the east end of the lake, so that's going to get us good. Walk that.
Yeah, I got it.
Try to keep steady pressure.
Yeah. All right. So here's another thing.
Right here we got a Lake Ontario brown trout. This is a perfect table size. This is what we come out here in the spring.
Hey everybody, Chris Bates, Outdoor Secrets Unwrapped. Craig Chennialle's on another fish, and then there's a double.
Reel down on it. Aim the passenger.
Yeah.
Aim the passenger. Yep.
We're going to talk about that too. Hey, welcome back to Outdoor Secrets Unwrapped. I'm your host, Chris Bates, and boy, what a time I'm having in Pulaski, New York. As always, we're looking for a place to stay, and we came up with the River's Edge Camp. And, you know, it's cabins, it's a beautiful piece of property. We have Polly Dieckman here, the owner and proprietor and everything else, here to talk about your camp. And it's beautiful. I love this place.
Thank you.
So my first question is, how in the world does somebody get started like this?
Well, we've always had a dream, Jay and I, for owning a camp, a fish camp, to utilize for our family for starters. So we came up during COVID and we searched countlessly at different properties in the area. We wanted to be close to the lake, close to the river, and we struck gold here, I feel like. We have 11 acres for everybody to enjoy.
So let me ask you this. Which river are you close by? Because there's, I think, a couple rivers here, but the one that's the most famous river we are close to, which one?
Okay, so the Salmon River is about 2 miles away.
Okay.
And Lake Ontario is under a 10-minute drive from here.
And that's huge for salmon. If someone wanted to go salmon fishing.
Salmon fishing, brown trout fishing, bass fishing. Sunsets are beautiful as well.
Right.
Lots of state parks in the area.
Yeah. So you're centrally located. In fact, you're more than centrally located on this piece of property.
Yes. What do you mean by like?
So centrally located.
What
So
do
you
mean?
can get to Pulaski. You
Pulaski
can get to Altmar. You can get to all over this area at this piece of property.
Chris, we have a prime location here.
Right.
We are 5 minutes from the center of Pulaski. Altmar is in 5 or 6 minutes. The Salmon River Falls, beautiful. The hatchery is under a 10-minute drive. Like I said, the lake is right around the corner, we say.
Yeah.
There is plenty of things to do if you're not fishing in this area as well.
Right.
So we have lots of state parks. There's wildlife management areas. We can host guests that are here for pheasant hunting, deer hunting, turkey hunting, the snowmobiling community. The road right here on the property is an ATV road accessible to get to all the local areas that everybody enjoys.
Right. So the cabins. You told me a really cool story about the cabins, and I think you should share the story about how you came up with your concept and how are they decorated? Let's just put it that way.
So each cabin is decorated based on what we have harvested. Jay and I both like to hunt and fish, so we decided we would incorporate all of our mounts and our family stuff in each cabin. So we have the bear den, which has bear hides, and the caribou cabin also has a caribou in there that we did not harvest.
Right.
That actually it was gifted to us by a charter captain out of Sodas Point. The fishing shanty, which is where you're staying, that is all from my family. Different fish we've caught. This is a family camp. My brother is here. My children come up. We host family reunions as well as the fishermen. But we hunt, we fish, and so we enjoy sharing what we do with our friends and future guests.
Right. So I have a fox looking down at me. It's pretty cool.
Okay.
So I like the idea. How many cabins do you have out here?
Right now we have 4 on property, with goals to a few more. If Mother Nature will allow us to continue what we're doing here. And we're focusing on becoming a 4-season camp for everybody to enjoy year-round.
Yeah. And now you have, what are some of the amenities? Because, you have internet.
We have internet.
But what are some of the things that are so unique to this property that you have?
Well, on a weekend you can get, and you will enjoy that this afternoon.
Right.
I work with the local Amish, and I have the ladies bake some breads for me. So there's always some fresh bread in the kitchen for guests to enjoy. We have a dry kitchen where the fishermen can store their fish in the freezers. There's coffee makers, coffee pots. We have grilling system outside. We're building a pavilion over here this spring. There's a television in there if you need to, check on a game or something, watch a game or whatever. We put up cornhole and games, and there'll be chickens in the chicken coop by next month, so the guests can help themselves to farm fresh eggs to use in the morning for their breakfast. Community fire pit. Each cabin has their own picnic table and grill if you want to keep to yourself, or you can join everybody at the community fire pit area at night.
That's always fun. I always
fun.
enjoy that.
It is fun, meeting new people, socializing. It's a good time. I try to keep everybody happy. That's my goal. I want everybody comfortable, and I want everybody happy.
So I can say it's pretty comfortable.
Thank you.
You know, for me, I think it's really a beautiful place. It's exactly.
Thank you very much.
So if someone's looking for, what do we call it, glamping?
Glamping.
Is that what it's called?
Well, that's what they call it, glamping.
Right.
Yes.
So I do. I really think that the cabins, the property itself is beautiful. You, your husband, everybody's friendly. I mean, like, why wouldn't you want to come here, right? Why wouldn't you? What would be the reason? Well, I don't have a reason why I wouldn't.
Well, I hope you come
right?
back.
Oh, definitely. We're going to talk about that too. So,
and if you're lucky enough, on a weekend, you might catch a bowl of chili. Jay likes to cook for everybody.
Right.
And we, you know, when we have a bunch of guests, we'll put out like a bowl of chili for everybody to try, or we'll share our harvest and cook a hot dog on the fire pit with our guests as well.
So how do people get hold of you, or how do they find
Well, Rivers
your
Edge
resort?
Camp has a social media page on Facebook.
Okay.
As well as we are on the Salmon River Lodging page.
Yes.
That is an important page for the community, for everybody to find a property that is what you're looking for.
Right.
And so we're on there. We're on social media, Rivers Edge Camp on Facebook. I have a website and email. And
what is your phone number?
973-903-2344.
Okay, and you answer that pretty much all the time.
I have it in my pocket.
Right.
I have it in my pocket. Yes, I always answer it. So salmon season is a very big season for the community, not just for me, but for everybody around here. So if guests are looking to come for the fantastic salmon run that river provides, for anywhere from mid-July, we saw salmon on the boats last year, the charter boats, through the end of October. Guests should start looking for places to
right now.
Right. A lot of properties are already filled.
Right.
And I'd love for everybody to give us a chance here.
All right. Well, thank you so much. It was wonderful. I learned so much about your property, and
thank you.
I love your story, and it's so homey. Let's just put it that way. It's like being at home.
That's what I want everybody to feel like, at home. Be comfortable. Enjoy yourself. And we keep to ourselves, but if you need something, we are here. Yeah.
All right. All right, folks. Hang tight. We'll be back with more Outdoor Secrets Unwrapped right after this.
Hi, I'm Polly Dieckman from Rivers Edge Camp, Pulaski, New York, and you're watching Outdoor Secrets Unwrapped.
Welcome back to Outdoor Secrets Unwrapped. Holy cow, what a day on the water. I didn't think we were going to get out because of the wind. Shiloh here. We're going. His buddy Tim, we're going. All right, we're going. Wow. I just could not believe the doubles. The fish, you know, and we had this window of opportunity that the weather kind of let us go out.
Yep. Lake Ontario is known for the weather. We had a 2.5 hour window where we could get out, and luckily the fish wanted to play, and it wasn't ideal conditions. And
right,
you know, we did. We had multiple doubles. We had a couple of bigger fish on. You know, it was a good day.
Yeah, you know, we got some really good footage, and I was really happy to do that we were able to do that. What water depth were we fishing? What was the temperature of the water? Because when I was talking with Tim, your first mate, he was talking about the water temperature. So what was so important about that?
So when we're brown trout fishing, we're looking for the warmest water, being that it's spring. The bait fish are looking for the warmest water. So a lot of times we're targeting the creek mouse. We had a little bit of rain. It's giving us a little bit of that warm water coming out. So once we got in front of the creek mouse, we were running in like 46-degree water. And then once we kept heading west a little bit, we got to 44, and that's when the bite stopped. So that was when it was time to turn back and get back in that warmer water.
So is that a tip for
Absolutely.
even going after other fish throughout the season?
Yes. Well, that goes for anything in fishing. You need to know the water temperatures. Every fish has a preferred temperature throughout the season. And right now they're just looking for warm water. So any warm water discharge, be it a creek mouth, the nuke plant,
Right.
Water treatment plant, anything that's going to give us warm water is going to help us out right now.
So maybe sometimes my viewers ask me questions online and stuff about certain fish that's going on. What does it mean when you say you're in 120 foot of water, but you're only fishing the top 20 feet? And why is that?
Depending on the species, like if we were going after steelhead, we would be fishing above what we call the thermocline.
Oh.
And that thermocline is where the lake flips from warm water to cold water. And you get a line of 5 to 10 feet where it might be, say, 52 degrees.
Right.
And your steelhead are going to be in that above the thermocline. So you're going to want to fish, that top tier.
Okay, so that makes sense. And I always wondered, my viewers would always say to me, well, why do they do that? Why don't they just go find 20 feet of water, right?
Right.
Well, they don't live in that, so.
Right.
All right, well, how do people find you?
So I primarily do my business through Facebook and the shows.
Okay.
I'm doing quite a bit of shows throughout New England now. I like the person-to-person contact
Right.
and talk to people that way.
What is your phone number that people can call you at?
518-796-9044.
And they can find you where you harbored at.
I am in Mexico Bay out of Salmon Country Marina.
Okay. All right, great. I appreciate it. I had a blast. I never laughed so hard, and I learned so much from you about inclement weather, whether it's safe or not. So I learned a lot, and I want to thank you so much for everything.
Thank you.
All right, folks. We'll be back with more next week.
Outdoor Secrets Unwrapped is brought to you in part by White Rocks Design Studio at Turcotte Design, who's been serving Southern Vermont for over 20 years. Fish Donkey, the future of tournament fishing. Targets Unlimited, Mercer Sports. Outdoor Secrets Unwrapped hot sauce with that big craft heat and that big craft taste. Corker Boots, P-Line, Sugar Mountain Trading Company. The Outdoor Experience Guide Service, who has been serving Southern Wisconsin for over 20 years. Cooler Guard Spray with the cleaning power of enzymes. Okuma Fishing, Hoffman Lures Incorporated, and a proud member of the Southwest Chamber of Commerce.
Meet you again. May God bless you. Adios. Wise men say only fools rushing, but I can't help falling in love.